This is the EWN Podcast Network.
Welcome to Late Boomers, our podcast guide to creating your third act with style, power, and impact. Hi, I'm Kathy Worthington.
And I'm Mary Elkins. Join us as we bring you conversations with successful entrepreneurs, entertainers, and people with vision who are making a difference in the world.
Everyone has a story, and we'll take you along for the ride on each interview, recounting the journey our guests have taken to get where they are, inspiring you to create your own path to success. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Kathy Worthington. Welcome to the latest edition of Late Boomers. Today, we boomers are welcoming an incredible guest who is redefining the way we think about stress recovery and peak performance.
And I'm Mary Elkins. Kris Rice is the founder and CEO of Chillpod, a state-of-the-art cold immersion system designed to help high-achieving women reset their nervous system, boost energy, and reclaim their mental well-being in just 2 minutes a day. Welcome, Kris. I can't wait to hear about this.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
It's a new subject for us.
So please tell us more fun.
Yeah, please tell us the backstory about how you started and how you find yourself in the place you're in today.
Sure, happy to. So I was just telling you ladies before we hit record that the spoiler alert is that I also hate cold water. So let's just preface with that I'm not one of those people that was like yearning to go jump in the cold. That was not the story. So I am a mom to 2 young girls. They're roughly teenagers now. And when my younger one was a toddler, she had a lot of mental health struggles. And so I stepped into the role of really advocating and trying to find solutions for her mental well-being. And along the path of supporting her and finding, creative, different ways to support her and feeling better, I really was able to recognize my own struggle of anxiety, perfectionism, just trying to hold it all together and reaching a breaking point. And so in really realizing that and kind of having her as a mirror, I realized I needed to do my own self-discovery and what could help me feel better day to day. So I came into it with a pretty curious mindset, just what could be out there, what could I try? And I really went a more natural approach. I tried meditation, movement, all of these things that are wonderful and I still love to this day. But the reality was I was building all these practices that took a very long time to be able to fit into my day. If meditation takes a half an hour and then I still need to go for a walk and I need to do all of these things, it adds up. And I just was feeling buried by my solutions again. And so it was from that place that one of my dear friends kind of kept poking at the idea of, Kris, I really think you should try cold plunging. I think it's going to hit home for you. I really think it's going to support you. And I was like, no, literally no. It just sounds terrible. I don't want to do it. No, thank you. And so I said that for a couple of months and she stuck on it. She was like, hey, I've been doing it for a while. I genuinely think you should just try it. And so from that point, I was like, all right, fine. I'm just going to give it a go. I might completely hate it, but maybe it's the thing that has been missing for me. So I secretly bought a horse trough. I put it in my backyard. We started making our own ice. And the reality is from that first plunge, it really was like the reset that my body needed. And so from that point forward, it started this whole trajectory of trying to help more women understand the benefits of going in, understanding how you can feel.
Tell us how it changed. Tell us how it changed other women and changed your life.
Yeah, for sure. So for myself, when I first started plunging, what I noticed was the increase in my dopamine. So I would get out and I was legitimately just smiling. And I was like, okay, that's not like usual.
How long did you stay in? And how cold
Good question.
was it?
Good question. So when I first did it, it was straight up horse water. It was hose water. So it was early spring. So the hose water was probably in the mid 50s, something like that. So it was cold, but it wasn't as intense as I can do now. So when I did that, I wanted to stay in for one song, and my one song was like 2.5 minutes. I
Ooh.
ended up staying in for 7 minutes.
Whoa.
So yeah, but it wasn't super cold. When you hear 55, you think that's like intensely cold. You might be surprised. Like if you turned your shower cold, that would be about equal. So it's not frigid, but I will always say it's not about how long you can do it, how cold you can do it. Like that just felt right to me in that moment. Now I'm able to do a colder temperature, but I do it for a shorter amount of time. There's no way I could do 7 minutes in what I do now.
How cold?
I do about 46. So now I upgraded. We have the chiller that I can actually say what temperature versus like my little boxes of ice that I would put in there. So
Oh, wow.
yeah.
But
So in
we
the
know
beginning, that was really what I noticed was I just felt happier. I just
You did.
felt better.
happier.
And happier is good. Like, and
Happier's
especially
great.
if you've been underwater for a long time, I guess pun intended, like if you've been buried by stress and anxiety for a long time, to just not even know why you're smiling, but to feel good is a really good relief. So that was
And
what I noticed first.
What really finally made you try it? Just your girlfriend urging, or did you read about it? Did you know someone that had changed?
Good question. I definitely am like a curious person who will listen to the podcasts. I'll, read the books. I'll do all the backstory to kind of help myself understand it. And then she's just a trusted girlfriend. So I was like, she knows me. And if she's saying it works, I can trust her. Like she's not going to lead me in the wrong direction. So I kind of had the science and the research behind it, but then also a trusted person saying, just try it, And I think it was when I finally let go of like the perfectionism of what it had to look like to say, okay, like it can be this ugly little trough in my backyard, but it gives me an opportunity to try it and I don't have to be committed to it. If I hate it, I'm out $100. Like at the end of the day, that's it. So I think that it was the combination of those two things, but having somebody that knew me and kind of knows how I am and how I function to say that was meaningful to me.
So
That's fabulous.
Would you? I have two questions here for you that are brewing in my head.
Yeah.
Do you think starting with cold showers might be a good way? And do you get into a hot shower first and then turn on the cold, or you just turn on the cold? And
yeah, it's a great question. And I think that's a wonderful place to start. I really do, because it is pretty accessible. Everyone has access to a shower of some sort. And even if you're in a warm climate, the water can go cold enough that you're going to get the feeling of it. And when you do it, to get the most benefit, you would want to be hot for your like normal shower. And then at the end, you turn it cold. So full transparency, I think that's harder. So you're cozy and warm from your shower. You feel good. You're relaxed. And then you turn it cold and half your body's getting cold and the other half is still warm. So I'm not trying to discourage anyone from it. I think it's a great place to start. And I say that just because if you go and do it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is torture, I hate it, just know there's other ways to explore it. That's not the only way.
okay.
Yeah,
Second
because I used to
question.
always turn the water cold because they tell you to do that for your hair. If you're washing
Yep.
your
Exactly.
hair,
I do that
it
too.
closes the pores. But I got to a point where I hated it, and I
Me
don't do
too.
it anymore.
Me too. I did it like
I
5 times.
cannot take a cold shower.
No,
So I would
it's a hard
rather
stop for me too.
try to climb into cold water than to shower with it.
And then
The
turn on
other
the
thing
warm.
you could try too is, if the cold shower is miserable, which I 100% get, you could also just do one body part. So you could have a bowl of water with ice in it if you wanted to, and you could sink your hands in that You could sink your feet. You can even do your face if you wanted to, just for 10 seconds. And then you could, obviously with your hands or something, you could maybe explore doing that a little bit longer. But it's not to be discounted. It's still a version of cold therapy, and you can try it and see if maybe that is a way to ease you into other ways too.
Well, let me ask you
Wow.
another question that
Yeah.
I've had brewing in my brain. Um, what are well, you are now an expert on it, but what do the other experts say why cold therapy is so effective for mental wellness? And
Mhm.
what have you learned?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the main reason that it's so effective for our mental wellness is because it resets our nervous system. So you probably are aware, but I'll do like a quick little overview of, so your nervous system has two ways of processing. It's either in rest and digest, it's calm and relaxed, like we probably are right now, or it's in fight or flight. It's preparing for something bad. It's ready to like send you in the other direction. So the power of cold plunging is that you're intentionally putting your body into fight or flight, but only for a really short time. So where we could, like for myself, I was in fight or flight for years and I had no idea until I got out of it and could recognize the difference. But if you're doing that act of actually putting yourself intentionally into fight or flight, knowing there's an end point, and then allowing your body to recover from that, that's why you have so much better resilience to stress. It's why you're able to clear out that mental brain fog, things like that, because your body is learning how to really process and respond to stress differently.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
have a friend that does it, and he says it actually gets rid of joint pain for like most
Yeah.
of the day. Most
Yeah.
of the
It's
day, any
really powerful.
joints.
Yeah, it's really powerful for inflammation. If that's something that you struggle with, it's a great thing to explore and just try
Yeah.
and see if it can help. And that you touched on a really great point too, is the benefits that you get. It's pretty amazing to me because few things can you do the hard thing and you immediately feel different. If you work out, you might feel a little bit different, but your body doesn't
Yeah,
transform in that one time. Where
yeah.
this, you instantly feel different and better. But then it also trickles down slowly. So, where a lot of things you'll have spikes of those hormone changes, this is like a slow release afterwards. So, when you're talking about inflammation, I can see why that would last, for most of the day. If you're able to do that in the morning, it probably just slowly builds back over the day, and then you may do it again tomorrow.
Does it affect your
Hmm.
metabolism?
Yeah, it definitely speeds up your metabolism too. So
Yeah,
it's
it's good for weight loss, right?
it is. Yep, it definitely speeds up your metabolism and it helps you gain more lean muscle mass too.
Oh, good
Oh,
for
yeah,
older
that
people.
I know, good for everyone.
yeah, yeah. Do you think cold therapy is more transformative for mental or physical well-being?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think it depends on the person. So I think it is a really personal practice where one person's body is going to respond to it differently than another one is. I can say for myself, the mental benefits were far and above the physical. But then, like, I look
Mm.
at my husband and he's had a ton of physical changes from that. He would have chronic back pain and it was all stress related. So if he goes and plunges now, it's gone. He's like, I
Really?
used to have to do all these things to try and alleviate it. He's like, okay, I'll go hop in, I'll come back out, and I always feel better. So it's really personal to what you kind of have going on in your body. But I think everybody will have a mix of both to some degree too.
So you
Hmm.
do it in the morning.
I do. I do it in the morning. My hack is that I go from pajamas to my swimsuit because if I go to clothes, it never happens. So
Yeah,
that's my hack. I
yeah.
realized it the other day.
Yeah,
The
I
people
get
I
that.
know that do it, they go straight to the pool or
Yep.
whatever they're plunging in, like without, yeah, right from the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Or
the
a cold
easiest way
bath.
to do it. You're setting up your day. You've done maybe the hardest thing you're going to tax your body with that day. And then, it's impacting how you show up through the rest of the day. So the morning is a
Hmm.
great time. both for that as well as just reinforcing your circadian rhythm, reminding your body it's time to get up and get going for the day, all that
That,
things. You're well
Oh,
aware of
yeah.
yeah,
it.
if you manage to
Well,
get outside in the cold air, because
Yep.
most of us would be doing it outside.
Yeah.
But I know
Yeah.
you've got alternative stuff you're going to tell us about in
yeah.
a few
Well, a
minutes.
bathtub too.
Absolutely. You could fill a bathtub just with cold water. Some people will do, bags of ice or make your own ice and throw it in there too. There's lots of ways to do it. And it's funny when you said the cold water or the cold air outside, it made me think maybe I'm just crazy, but I actually think it's easier to do in the cold weather because your body acclimates in that little bit of time. And
Mhm.
so,
Mm-hmm.
like from my walk from the door to my plunge, I'm able to, I'm in my swimsuit. It's like 40 some degrees. You kind of get used to it a little bit. So it lessens the blow. When it's actually really nice in the summer, I think it's harder because you've got super nice
Wow.
weather, you've got sunshine on you, and then you're going in the cold. I
Right.
think it's harder.
Oh, much
Oh,
harder.
yeah.
I can only
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
So, what do you think most people get wrong about cold plunging, which I think we both got wrong before we started to talk to you?
Yeah. Oh, I think that the number one thing people get wrong is focusing so much on the distaste for the cold. So there is not a person I talk to that their first response is not, I hate cold water. I'm not doing it. I hate it. And it's just not about hating the cold water. It's about realizing what's on the other side of it and how you could actually feel. Because if you can transform how you feel and how you think in 2 minutes, like, isn't that worth a try?
2 minutes. That's
Is.
it, huh?
It
It
is.
is.
And worst
It is
case,
worth
you
a
do
try.
hate it and you don't feel different. But I have yet to see or talk to anyone that doesn't feel at least a little different. You at least get an energy boost. You at least have some little experience that you're like, makes me curious. Maybe I'll try it again.
And so, if you're
What?
feeling a little down, you get into the cold water and immediately
Totally.
it readjusts your mental
Yeah.
state.
Yeah, I maybe it sounds wild, but I always picture it. Literally feel the shift go from my feet to my head, and it's like it just almost like an electricity kind of feel where it like just washes that out, and I can feel my head and everything just clearing and resetting. And there's
Mm.
nothing else that I do where I feel that kind of immediate shift.
Hmm. Well,
Mm.
you created a company called Chillpod,
I
and you
did.
had women in mind for this. So, what did you identified something missing in the market? But tell us about the equipment and how you
Yeah.
developed this and what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I was sitting, it all was born from sitting in my little horse trough. And as I
Mm-hmm.
sat in there and was like, I just have to help more women experience this. And there is such a big barrier to entry. So I would go in there and then I would think about, if I could have this be better, what would that be? If I could make this truly for a human experience, for women to feel confident and like curious about getting in there versus so resistant, what would that be? And so I had all these ideas in mind. I got aligned with an incredible product design company, and they took all of my many ideas and made it into a real life design. And it is beautiful and spectacular. And the things I love most about it is, number one, it is made for the human body. It's made to take an uncomfortable experience and have you feel safe and held. And what that looks like is it actually has a chair inside of it. So it's like a lounge chair, literally inside of the plunge. So when you sit, your arms are supported, your body's supported and held. And most of all,
Mm.
it's easy. So when I had the horse trough, it would probably shock you how much time and energy I spent making ice and trying to figure out how to get it colder and how to keep the water clean and all of these things. So for me, that was a big part of, we're all busy. We have limited time. If you're leaning into something like this, needing a quick way to make sure that this is like taken care of for you. And so that's where I came from with that too, that it's clean, it's, exactly what temperature it is, all of that good stuff.
How much space does it take up?
That was another thing that I took into account too. So if you imagine a lot of the cold plunges, they're really long and rectangular, right? So they take
I don't know.
They're really big.
I've never seen one.
I haven't either.
You can imagine basically like 2 bathtubs. They're very long. So if you find one that is that style that'll have a chiller with it and all of the purifications done for you, they just get really sizable. And so in my opinion, like few people have all of this extra space in their backyard or in their garage or wherever they want to put it. So we flipped it on its head and we made it this cute little stand-up pod that is not a whole lot bigger than your body so that it doesn't take this huge footprint to be able to have it in your space. And it's beautiful and helps you feel good about it. Like it makes you want to go to it versus feeling like you have to go in your Rubbermaid trough. Like not that fun.
Mm-hmm.
How do you climb in? How does that work?
Steps. You just do 2 steps and you climb over.
Oh.
Like
And getting out is relatively easy
Same
for
thing.
people?
Yep. There's a little armrest even, but honestly, you'd be surprised by the time you do the 2 steps and you step on the seat where you would actually, where you'll sit on, it's not very far.
And you don't have to fill it every time?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So it has a filter to keep the water clean. And that's part of the efficiency. I'm an Oregonian, so like sustainability is in my heart. And so I always want to try and find ways to, use less water, use less resources, all of that. And so, yeah, the water, if you have it in your home, can be used for easily 2 to 4 weeks and it'll be clean and perfectly fine for you to use.
That's good because I would never waste all the water that goes into a bathtub.
Right.
I wouldn't do it.
I know. It kind of breaks your heart when you do that. And again, like the green in me also hooks up the hose and actually waters my plants with the old water. You can do that too.
That's great.
Good.
I might try it tomorrow morning in the bathtub.
You should. I hope you do. Tell me if you do. I want to know how it goes.
I might just try it with my feet too.
Yes.
Do you keep yours outside or in the house?
Mine is outside just because of my space. That's where it works. But you could absolutely have it inside. And I can imagine, if you have, especially like an area that you live in that has really wide temperature swings, having it in your garage or having it in, if you had room in a master bath or something like that, it might be nice to have it inside, but works either way.
Oh, great.
Do you have any more advice for those of us who might be really scared to try this or who really hates the cold?
My number one piece of advice is just to figure out like what your why is. If you are feeling stuck and you're just not sure how to change and feel differently, imagine like if somebody waved a magic wand and what those things would be that you were like, oh, that would be incredible. I maybe can't even imagine that. And that's meaningful. So if you hold on to what your personal why is, you're inherently going to connect with that when you're in there. And you have those reasons for, the thoughts that come up for a reason. So I think the more you can make it personal to you and what are those things that you wish that you could change, even just as simple as sleeping better or, being able to work out and feel stronger or whatever those pieces are that would be meaningful to you, hold on to those and watch what happens as you do it because you will start connecting with those.
Did you keep a journal about how you felt and how you changed?
I sure wish I had. That would have been a great idea.
So we should advise people to try that if they're going to try the new. Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Write
Honestly,
it down.
I was thinking that as I was saying it, because I was kind of making like a writing gesture that I think it would be awesome if you wrote down your why. What are those things that you're like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine that. And then to look back a year later or some time period down the road and you're like, oh my goodness, look at that. Maybe I'm not even there, but I'm on the way to that. I can tell. So I think that's meaningful. I'm a huge fan of journaling or writing things down because even if you don't remember doing it or you don't remember the things you wrote down, there is intention in doing that.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, we know that you've tried a lot of wellness practices, and you've kind of touched on this already, but why did cold therapy stand out for you? Was it just because it came at you more? Your friend was pushing it?
I
But
think the
it's the
reason
change.
I think it's the transformation. It's the way that you can feel so differently. Literally, the second you get in there, you start to feel different. And so I think it's that paired with the minimal amount of time. Both of those are really impactful for me. Having young kids, working full time, all of those things, like it feels amazing to be like, on a day where maybe that's the one thing I get to, maybe that's my one self-care practice, to instead of being like, oh, I only had 2 minutes, to be reminded that 2 minutes is enough, that 2 minutes was all I needed that
Oh,
day. And I really feel good about that. I think that that's why I love it so much. That paired with feeling better fast, you kind of can't beat it.
Yeah. Would you recommend at all doing it at night, or does it create too much energy?
So I have a couple opinions about that. For me personally, it definitely makes too much energy. I had a few people recommend it and say they never slept better. Singing its praises. So I tried it, and that was not true for me. I was very energized. I was not able to get a good night's sleep. But like all things, like maybe for you or someone else, that would be your exact right timing. So I would recommend trying it in the morning, seeing how that goes. And then if you're like, that's not really winding me up, it's making me feel relaxed, then by all means,
Mm.
try it at night, see if that lands for you.
Alluding back to the question that Kathy asked you, you said, and what you said earlier, that your husband does it too.
Mhm.
What kind of, not to get personal, but did you see a lot of change in him
I really did. He
and in the
was not
relationship?
curious. What was that?
And in the relationship.
Yeah, great question. So where I had so many of the mental shifts, he definitely had physical shifts fast. He had been on a little bit of a weight loss journey anyways. And I think that honestly, as I look back, I think it made him feel stronger in his own body to go start trying things physically that he didn't want to do or felt just unsure where to start before, like lifting weights. So over the course of him cold plunging more consistently, he started lifting weights for the first time. And then he started doing it more and more consistently. And now that's just a part of his practice. And for the longest time, that was not something that he was drawn to. And I just think for both of us and for our relationship, I think that recognition that you're doing something really hard intentionally and you're showing up and doing those difficult things, I just think that is meaningful and plays out in a lot of ways that aren't even tangible or you wouldn't even realize they're connected. But I just think there's a thread there where that sense of resilience and trust that you can make it through really difficult circumstances that really is, it's pretty amazing to see that play out.
Mhm. Well, so what do you think the biggest mindset shift is that people need to make about cold plunging?
I think it's that, well, I think it's two things. One would be feeling like it's all or nothing. Like either I am going in super cold water and I'm staying in there for multiple minutes, or I'm not cold plunging at all. Like realize that there's lots of ways to play with that.
Mm.
Whether that is playing with your temperature range, the amount of time you're in there, all of that stuff. I think that is the main thing. Like it doesn't have to look one way. You can definitely make it your own. And then also the thought that you're ever going to be like, I love cold water. I love this. It's not going to happen. I still most mornings get up and think, maybe I won't do it today.
Do
but
you do it
then
every day?
then I do it. I do it almost every day. And, to the ditching perfectionism, I don't do it every day. So I probably do it 4 or 5 times Today I didn't. I was like, you know what? I'm good today. I've done it 3 days in a row. I'm going to give my body a little rest and I'll go back tomorrow. So I think just ditching that idea that you think you're ever going to fully embrace and love the cold. It's okay not to love it. I don't love it either. I love being warm. And so, set that aside. That is what it is. And you don't have to try and solve that. Again, think to the other side of the water and what that could be.
When someone's just starting out, would you take an iPhone and put the timer for 2 minutes? Or how's the best way? Or pick a song that plays for 2 minutes or what?
I would do that. I would, as much as you can, tap into your 5 senses. So if you're outside, I personally like to close my eyes, but that's just me. It's really nice to look around and see the trees or have the sun on your face or whatever that is. So give yourself a visual. And then I think sound is a huge piece. So I kind of jostle around between liking music, or I also really love a short little mantra that I'll listen to. I really like Gabby Bernstein, so I'll listen to hers for 2.5 minutes. But to your point, pick something that's doable. And even if it's a song you love, know that you can make it till the chorus and then get out, and that's fine. And then that's almost a great marker of success too. When you finally make it for the full song, you're like, oh my gosh, I did it. It's great.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. So you want to kind of maybe start slow or start with a limited number of seconds, let's say, and build up to 2 minutes.
Absolutely. I would
2 minutes a max?
It's very personal, but I feel like 2 to 3 minutes is a really good high range. So when you think about cold exposure, it can be anything from 40 degrees to 60 degrees. So that's a really wide range. So if I was starting, I would always tell somebody, start as close to 60 and do it for 15 seconds. Maybe then you do it for 30 seconds and just really tune into what your body is saying. If your feet are so feet and hands are the most sensitive. So if your feet are feeling discomfort to the bone, get out. Listen to your body's cues on that and you will know when to get out. And I think that's another thing that is so powerful. We're listening to our intuition. We're listening to our body's guidance. And again, that's throughout the whole day then. So you've done that once in a very hard setting. Now you're going to listen to that differently through the day.
Yeah, maybe it's not going to be so noisy. Your body isn't going to be talking to you so much.
Because you're listening more intuitively. You've already done that. So first and foremost, always listen to what your body's saying, or whether that's in the water or out. If you get out and again, say your feet are really cold, you can't warm them up for hours, that's a good sign to be nope, went too far that time. How do I dial that back and try it in a different way another time?
Maybe not so freezing cold.
Yeah. Always temperature is a good one to play with.
Well, does the water feel like it gets warmer ever? Like when you're in a swimming pool and you move around, it gets warmer.
Yeah, a little bit. You know what's funny? It's the opposite. So if you stay still, you get little pockets of warm around you. So, or if you lean against something, if there's a back or something to it and you lean against that, you get a little warm pocket. And then if you move, you're like, oh man. So I do think the intensity is in the beginning. And then the more that you can kind of just center your body, remind yourself you're safe, you're going to be okay, then that sort of, I think the water just feels a little more tolerable.
Wow. So, Kris, I know you have a message for our listeners. If someone listening is struggling with stress or burnout, what's one thing they can do today to feel better?
I really think just try one of the things that we've talked about, whether that is, submerging your hands in cold water for 10 seconds or doing your feet, or maybe you end with a cold shower. Try something. We all hate the cold. Just think about what that could be and how you could feel differently, and just be open to what that could look like for you. So I would just encourage kind of ditching what those expectations you've had are and just coming into it with a fresh mind and seeing what it could be.
That's such
thank
a
you,
good,
Kris. Yeah.
Yes, good takeaway.
Great
Good. I'm
takeaway.
glad.
Thank you. I am gonna try it tomorrow, even if it's just turning the cold on in the shower.
And
But
any amount of time counts. That's the whole thing. Like, celebrate your wins in doing that. If you turn it cold for 5 seconds, it's 5 seconds you didn't do the time before. So really, like, it's okay. Like, have compassion for yourself. It's not easy.
We all beat ourselves up when we don't do it
Way
perfectly.
too much.
we
Mm-hmm.
do too much,
Mhm.
way
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Kris. That was truly enlightening, and I won't say chilling because it was warming.
Well, thank you. This was a very fun conversation. I'm so glad that we got to have it today.
Oh, us too. And our guest today on Late Boomers has been Kris Rice. She's the founder and CEO of Chillpod. And you can go to thechillpod.com for more information. And Kris, is there anything else or any other place you'd like to recommend our audience go?
Yeah, definitely. I've got 2 spots that you can go. So if you are into Instagram, you can follow me if you're curious about like my founder journey, how to see how I cold plunge in real life. It's kind of like behind the scenes. You can follow me at Kris Rice Wellness, and it's Kris with a K. Also, you can follow the Chillpod. So it's thechillpod.co. And that's actually the same for the site too. So .co is where you can go check that out. And same thing on Instagram. So we'll give you lots of science behind it. You'll get some sneak peeks on the product, and just to be able to have a really great and empowering community that also is curious.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
And thanks
you.
to our listeners for listening to us. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel for the Late Boomers podcast, and take us along in the car and let us know if we inspired you to take action. Please follow us on Instagram at I am Kathy Worthington and at I am Mary Elkins and at Late Boomers. Next week, we will be talking to Marty Strong, a former Navy SEAL, who will let us know how to see change as an opportunity. Thanks so much, Boomers fans, and thanks again to Kris Rice.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Late Boomers, the podcast that is your guide to creating a third act with style, power, and impact. Please visit our website and get in touch with us at lateboomers.biz. If you would like to listen to or download other episodes of Late Boomers, go to ewnpodcastnetwork.com.
This podcast is also available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and most other major podcast sites. We hope you make use of the wisdom you've gained here, and that you enjoy a successful third act with your own style, power, and impact.